All right, so maybe you've got this little town, Pocatello, on your radar.
Pocatello.
Yeah, Pocatello, Idaho.
Got it.
Maybe for business, right?
Right.
Or maybe just out of curiosity, but you're like, okay, what's the deal with this place? What's like the need to know,
Right. Beyond just like the surface.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're doing here today. We're diving deep into Pocatello.
Yeah.
We're talking safety. We're talking about the economy, which, spoiler alert, is pretty interesting.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Their commitment to the environment.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll even touch on, some of the quirky stuff that makes Pocatello. Pocatello, you ready?
I am so ready. This is one of those towns that really kind of like breaks the mold,
Yeah.
especially when you think about its location nestled right in the mountains. Usually don't see this mix of like rugged beauty and like really forward-thinking ideas.
Right. You say mountain town, and you might picture, I don't know, like charming, Main Street.
Yeah. Quaint.
Quaint, but maybe not the most, I don't know, exciting when it comes to things like safety.
Right. Like you assume it's safe, but maybe not like top of the line.
Exactly. But Pocatello, man, they're like flipping that script.
Yeah.
We're talking under 10 minutes for police response times.
Wow.
5 to 7 minutes for the fire department. That's like giving cities twice its size a run for their money.
That's amazing. And it's not by accident. They've really put a lot of effort into community policing, making sure the community's engaged.
Right. It's not just like a coincidence.
Yeah, you see officers on a first-name basis with people who live there. They've got all these proactive programs, so they're not just, reacting after something bad happens.
Right.
And the proof is in the pudding. Like their crime rates are going down, which really says a lot.
Yeah, that's huge. Okay, but a safe city is only part of the picture, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Pocatello's economy, because this is where things get really interesting.
Oh, yeah. This is not your average. Tourism is the only industry mountain town.
Right.
Not at all. I mean, you've got Idaho State University there,
Okay.
big player.
Right.
Then there's a significant healthcare sector. But, and this is what I think is really cool, there is this tech scene that's starting to like really boom there.
Really?
Yeah, and it's alongside this like more established manufacturing industry.
So it's a good mix.
Yeah, it's super diverse, which is why it's attractive to like both startups and companies that have been around for a while.
And they're not just like letting that growth happen randomly.
Oh, no.
Like they've got this program, the Portland Valley Partners Program. It's all about like helping new businesses. They give resources and are really trying to create this like environment where everyone works together.
And that kind of leads into, another thing I find really interesting about Pocatello, and it's their commitment to sustainability.
Yeah.
They're thinking long term. It's not just about getting people to move there now. It's about making sure Pocatello is good to go for like way in the future,
Yeah. They're not just like talking about going green. They're actually doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Think LED streetlights everywhere, saving energy. They're all about saving water. And it's not just the city government doing this.
No.
They're like really encouraging businesses to think about the environment and how they do things too.
And that's really smart because like think about ESG. Environmental, social, and governance factors. These are things that investors really care about.
Mm-hmm.
And Pocatello, they're getting ahead of the curve. They're showing everyone they're a city of the future.
Yeah.
I mean, that's smart.
It really makes you wonder, like, could Pocatello be like the example,
Oh, interesting.
for other cities that are trying to figure out how to grow and be sustainable at the same time?
Totally. It's definitely a place other cities should look at. And the cool thing is they're doing all this forward-thinking stuff, but they haven't lost that like unique Pocatello vibe.
And speaking of that vibe, we've got to talk about like the quirky side of Pocatello.
Oh, yeah. Quirky for sure.
I mean, yeah, you've got those stunning mountains, the Bannock Range,
Gorgeous.
the Portneuf River, just like flowing right through the town. It's picturesque, but then you're like, wait a minute, there's a Museum of Clean.
The Museum of Clean. Who would have thought? A whole museum about like being clean.
I know. It's so unexpected, but it's like, that's Pocatello, right?
Yeah, it totally fits with their whole, gateway to the Northwest thing. I mean, it's more than just a location on a map. Pocatello is like a gateway to all these different experiences. It's the outdoors, it's that city feel, and then it's those like quirky things you find that make you remember a place.
Totally. And Here's like maybe the biggest surprise of all. With all of this, they've somehow managed to stay really affordable. Like their cost of living is surprisingly low.
I know, right? It's like the Pocatello paradox.
Yeah.
You get all this awesome stuff, safe streets, great schools, and like you can't beat the scenery, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to live there.
Right.
No wonder so many families and like young professionals are moving there. It's that perfect mix of, everything you need, but it's also got that energy, that vibrancy.
So I guess as we kind of like wrap up our deep dive into Pocatello, it makes you think,
Yeah,
is Pocatello like this one-of-a-kind place?
right. Like did everything just like magically come together there?
Yeah. Or could it be like a model for other cities that are trying to figure out this whole balance between like, moving forward and being affordable and sustainable all at the same time?
That's the question.
Yeah, that's something to think about.
Definitely.
That's it for our deep dive on Pocatello.